ReCalibur, eco-tools and youth work for collective creativity.
Hi, welcome to this ReCalibur video tutorial on a method called Voices of Nature. Voices of Nature is a method focusing on mindfulness and creative expression through nature. It aims to make people establish a connection with nature in the here and now, observing closely and translating and transforming those observations into artistic actions, either in the form of a nature mandala or a haiku composition. As the process revolves around an individual task, the exercise could be implemented even only with a single person, up to a group of people of any size. It is designed with the idea of lasting for at least 1 hour, including the introduction, but it can easily be customized by the facilitator in order to better fit the needs of the session and/or the group. It is best to be implemented in an outdoor setting, and it doesn't require any particular materials, except for some support for people to write with and on, such as paper and pens or pencils. One good tip to consider while preparing for the exercise is to actually prepare some examples for the participants to see, such as making a nature mandala somewhere in the proximity of the gathering place and have available some little rolled up pieces of paper with already existing haiku poems written on them, so that people could look at them for inspiration. Have people gather together and introduce them to the tools of nature mandala and a haiku, leaving them free to choose the one they feel closer to them as a means of expression, or also the possibility to try and experiment with both of them if they so wish. For mandalas, the invitation is to gather multiple natural materials from the surrounding, such as pieces of bark, leaves, flower petals, colored stone, berries, and so much more. Basically, keeping an eye out for anything with a pop of color. Once they have chosen a spot, they can assemble the materials together, usually placing their most interesting found object in the center, serving as the innermost ring of the mandala, and then starting to create circles around that object, repeating more and more rings in whatever pattern they like. If people choose haiku, let them know where they can have access to the writing materials and invite them to individually go and observe nature, looking closely for patterns, details, colors, sounds, as if they were making micro and macro snapshots with their mind, for then crystallize those images into a tangible form through writing. Remind people that the tools and structure are there to inspire and not to inhibit them. If at any time they feel restrained by the instruction, let them know that they can adapt, bend, and change it as it feels best to them. According to how much time available you have, there can be different ways to go in terms of debriefing of the exercise. One possibility could be to ask people who chose a specific tool to gather together and share how the process has been for them and what they noticed. They could go either on a small tour to see the different mandalas or read out the haiku produced, obviously only if people feel comfortable in sharing their creations. Another option could be to ask people who used different tools to mix up and for small groups in which the focus would be finding similarities and differences between the two tools while sharing the same ultimate aim. As a facilitator, if you don't have any familiarity with haiku and mandala as artistic tools, it is recommended to research a few basic notions about them beforehand, in order to be ready to select the most appropriate information to give to the actual target group of your session and eventually make all the adaptations needed. I feel that this exercise is a great way to ease into the process of artistic creation also those people who don't necessarily perceive themselves as artistic persons. It is all based on the idea of finding a way to be present and receptive to details and exploring ways of giving back those sensations in a creative way.
ReCalibur, EcoTools and Youth Work for Collective Creativity is co-founded by the Erasmus Plus program of the European Commission through the Slovak national agency Nava.